Morning, students. Last class we have discussed about the topic architectural models. In architectural models, we have discussed about software layers. In that, we have discussed about system architecture, client server architecture. In client server model, we have discussed about client and a single server, client with multiple servers, and proxy servers with caches, and peer-to-peer models. Okay, now the topic we are going to discuss today is fundamental models. Okay, this is next topic to the architectural models, fundamental models. Okay, coming to the brief introduction about the fundamental models are, these are mainly concerned with, in last class I told you about these mainly this fundamental model addresses three topics. One is interaction model, second one is failure model, third one is security model. In the interaction model, it deals with the performance and difficulty, of the setting of time limits in a distributed system. Okay, this interaction model deals with the time limits of a distribution system. Second one, failure model. This failure model, it deals with the faults, whatever the faults occur during the whatever the faults in the distributed system. Okay, it deals with the faults. Next, security model. Security model mainly discusses the threats, security of the processes and the communication channels. Okay. First model, interaction model. Here, in the interaction model, the computation occurs within the processes. These processes are interact with the process interact with another process in a distributed system by passing the messages. Here, the processes interact by passing the message. What it results? The result is, if a process sends a message to the other process, the result will be the communication. Communication is nothing but the information passing or information flow. Next one, coordination. Coordination is nothing but the synchronization and ordering the activities. Why? Because we are in a distributed system. We are having so many peer-to-peer systems. These peer-to-peer systems are having coordination. Okay. Next, is cooperation among the processes. Okay. Next, here two factors that affecting the interacting the processes in a distributed system. Let's see what are those two factors. The first factor that affects the interacting the processes in a distributed system is communication performance is often a limiting characteristic. Always a communication performance is a big issue. Why? Because the systems are located that in a distributed system, the systems are located at different places, but here the communication performance is sometimes it may be a problem. That is the one factor affecting the process communication. The second factor affecting is it is impossible to maintain a single global notion of time. Why? Because it is impossible to maintain a global clock, because the systems are located at different places, different continents. So it is not possible to maintain a single global clock. Next point. Here, the communication model, the communication channel in our model is realized in a variety of distributed systems. Example for that is streams, and second one is simple message passing over a network. Simple message passing over a network. The next point is communication over a computer network has performance characteristics. First one is latency. Okay, latency is nothing but a delay between the start of the message transmission from one process to the beginning of the reception by another. Let's see. First factor is latency. It is the time, it is a delay between the start of the message transmission from one process to the beginning of reception of by other. Okay. Second one, important factor, bandwidth. See, the total amount of information that can be transmitted over a given time. That is the total amount of information that can be transmitted in a given time. For example, the speed is 100 Mbps. Next, the communication channels using same network have shared the available bandwidth. Suppose all communication systems are nothing but it is in a distributed system. We are having so many communicating systems. If we allocate some bandwidth to that network, that network is divided. That network is divided among that bandwidth is shared among the systems. Okay, this is what sharing the available bandwidth. Next, jitter time, or it is called as jitter. The jitter, it is the variation in the time taken to deliver a series of messages. It is very relevant to the multimedia data. See, this jitter time is very much related to multimedia data. Here, it is the time variation. It is the variation in the time taken to deliver the series of messages. Next, in the interaction model, computer clocks and timing events. Here, in the computer clocks and timing events, each computer, as everyone knows, each computer in a distributed system, if you want to understand this one clearly, you need to understand the definition of distributed system, because the distributed system is nothing but it is a network of computers located at different places, and still they are having coordination, synchronization, cooperation. Okay, so that each computer in the distributed system has its internal clock, which can be used by local process. Okay, next one, suppose that is for single local process. Let's suppose the next one, therefore we have two processes running on two different machines. In the above point, I discussed only about local processes. Now see, we are having, we need to take example of two processes running on different machines that can associate the timestamp with their events. If a process runs on a single machine, it doesn't matter. If two processes are running on different computers, can associate the timestamp with their events. Next, however, these two processes read their clocks at the same time. Their clocks may supply different time. Why? Because they might have in different locations. They might sometimes in one machine the time is in one machine the time is different from to another machine. Why? Because they may locate in different locations. Okay, this happens because the computer clock drifts from perfect time, and their drift rate is differ from another. The next one, so the second point in the screen, see here, in a distributed systems, if we set the same time initially in all the clocks, they would eventually vary quite significantly unless the corrections are applied. Even though we set the clocks initially on same time, they might be changed. They might be changed. Let's take an example. There are several techniques to correct the computer clocks. The first example is the computers may use radio receivers to get the readings from GPS, right? For GPS system, we need to receive the radio signals with an accuracy about 1 microsecond. Okay. Here, the variants, coming to the variants of interaction model. Already we discussed about the clock in a distributed system. That is what here mentioned. In a distributed system, it is very tough to set the time limits on the time taken for the process, execution, message delivery, and clock drift. Okay, I told this point here. Yes, here the interaction model, what I told you, it is interaction model. See the first one. It deals with the performance and difficulty of setting of time limits in a distributed system. That is what I am discussing here. Coming to the variants, it is saying that it is very hard to set the time limits. It is very hard to set the time limits. Coming to the two variants, one is synchronous distributed system, the second one is asynchronous distributed system. In synchronous distributed system, the time taken to execute a step of process has known lower and upper bounds. Okay, lower and upper bounds means minimum how much time it will take and maximum how much time it will take. Okay, this is what we know in the synchronous distributed system. We know the lower bound of time and the upper bound of time for the execution. Next, each message transmitted over a channel is received within a bounded time. Here, the message is passed among the systems in a channel that must be received within the given time, given bounded time. Last point. Each process has a local clock whose drift rate from real time has known bound. Okay, here each process in synchronous distributed system is having a local clock. Coming to the second variant of interaction model, that is asynchronous distributed system. Here, this is differ from synchronous. Here there is no time bounds, no bounds of the process execution. There is no time bound. Though there is no, as in the synchronous we know the lower and upper bounds. Here there is no bound, and message transmission delays and clock drift rates. Here there is no bounds on these three. Okay. These two are the two different variants of interaction model. Coming to the next topic in interaction model, that is event ordering. In many distributed system applications, we are interested in knowing whether an event occurred before, after, or concurrently with another event and other processes. This is what the question. The question is, in a distributed system, if an event occurred before, after, or concurrently with another event and other processes. For that, the explanation is, the execution of a system can be described in terms of events. What is an event? Just make it down, students. An event is nothing but the execution of a system, okay, in their ordering, despite of lack of accurate clocks. Lack of accurate clocks. Here, take an example. Consider a mailing list. We are having 4 users, X, Y, Z, and A. Here, 4 users, X, Y, Z, and A. Here, the real-time ordering of events. The real-time ordering of events, we are having 4 users, X, Y, Z, and A. See, these may see what happens X in between X and Y. First one is this one. Okay. Second one, these numbers denotes the event orderings. These numbers denotes event orderings. See, here some send and receive. Here X is sending, Y is receiving, and here in the third point, Y is sending and X is receiving. Both point like that. These events are done at the different time intervals. Okay, here the horizontal line, vertical lines represents, sorry, the horizontal line represents the physical time. Okay, see here. This is the inbox of user A, looks like item number 23, that is from Z. Here we are having X, Y, Z, and A. Subject is meeting. Item 24 comes from means this is a message comes from, okay, comes from X. Whose inbox? Use A's inbox. This is A's inbox. A got message from Z regarding the meeting. A got message from Z regarding meeting. A got message from Y regarding meeting. Okay. Here, see here in the diagram, here what is M2, what is M1 and M3? T1, T2, T3 are times. M1, M2, M3 are messages. M1, M2, M3 are messages. These messages are exchanged. Here we need to know the ordering of the events. Which one needs to done first? Which one needs which event? Event is nothing but the execution of a task. Which event needs to be executed first? After that, what event? Okay, like that. This is the inbox of user A. Okay, this is all about the interaction model. In the interaction model, see, first we discussed about the fundamentals about the interaction model. Mainly, it deals with the, sorry, in the fundamental models, it deals with the interaction, failure, and security. In the interaction models, we have discussed about clocks, variants, event orderings. Okay, next model, the fundamental model. Fundamental model lo 3 models unnai. The first one is interaction model. Second one is failure model. Okay, this failure model deals in a distributed system. Both processes and communication channels may fail. Processes and communication both may fail. That is, they may depart from what is considered to be correct or desirable behavior. Okay, here 2 failures. Communication channel may fail. Both processes, the communication channel fails. Then what needs to be done to be corrected? Here, the type of failures in the failure model are omission failure, arbitrary failure, and timing failure. Let's see what are those. First, we see the communication channel between the process and process. Here we are having 2 processes. Those are process P and process Q. Here send M means send message. Okay, send means the process P send message to process Q and the process Q receives the message. See, this is the outgoing message buffer. Why? Because it is sending. Okay, sending message lo nunchi ela ellali outgoing kada. So sending lo nunchi outgoing buffer loki ellali. Receiving loki ela ekkadiki ellali incoming message lo buffer ki ellalannamata. If we want a process want to send the message, it comes to the outgoing message buffer. If a process wants to receive the message, it comes to the incoming message buffer. Okay, next, coming to the types of failures, the first type of failure I told you is omission and arbitrary failures. First one is omission, second one is arbitrary failures. First one, that the class of first column is class of failure, second what affects, third one is the description of the failure. First one, fail stop. First type of failure is fail stop. This affects the process. See what is about fail and stop. Fail stop, the process halts and remains halted. Suppose in a communication channel we have so many systems. Here the process halts. Okay, the halts remains halts. It never be resumed. What they mentioned, process halts and remains halted. Okay, here the other process detect the state. Okay, second type of failure is crash. If a crash is occurs, that affects the process. Here same, the process, if a crash occurs in a network, what happens, the process halts and remains halted. Other process message not able to detect this state. Okay, next one, omission. Here in the omission, the communication channel got affected, not either the process, not the process. The communication channel got affected. Here in the omission, a message inserted in a outgoing message buffer not arrives at the end of incoming message buffer. Here what happens, see this diagram. Here we have two processes, process P and process Q. Let's discuss about the omission failure. Process P wants to send a message M. It needs to come to outgoing message buffer and it got stuck in the communication channel. It got stuck in the communication channel, not reaches to the process Q's incoming buffer. Process Q's incoming message buffer. That is what they mentioned here in the omission failure. For this type of failure, the communication channel got affected. Next, send omission. For this send omission, the process got affected. A process complete, but the message is put in a outgoing buffer. The process completes send, but the message is put in its outgoing buffer. Here the printing is mistake. Here suppose for this omission, what is the type of failure? Send omission. Here the process P wants to send a message M to the process Q. Then what needs to be done? This message M needs to be done, needs to kept in the outgoing message buffer. Here the process is set, all set, but this is not entered into the outgoing message buffer. Here the process got affected. Next, receive omission. Receive omission. Here a message is put in a process incoming message buffer, but the process doesn't receive it. Just see, this diagram is very important to understand the failures. Here what is the type of class of failure? Receive omission. Receive omission means here process P kept the message in the outgoing buffer and it is passed over the communication channel, and it receives to the incoming message buffer of another process. From this incoming message buffer, it is not reached to the process. It is not reached to the process. This is the called as receive omission class of failure. Next, till this receive omission, we have completed the omission failures. Next one, arbitrary failures. Here for the arbitrary failures, process, channel both got affected. See how, what is arbitrary failure? Here the process, or channel exhibits an arbitrary behavior. It may send or transmit arbitrary message at arbitrary times to commit omissions. A process may stop to take incorrect step. What is the meaning of arbitrary? What is the meaning of arbitrary? For this type of failure, both process and channel. That means one side. Arbitrary means the one side decision. Okay. Here for this type of failure, both process and channel got affected. Next, we have completed two type of failures. Omission we have completed, and arbitrary after that, timing failures. Here, the first failure in timing is clock that affects the process. Here in clock failure, the process's local clock exceeds the bounds on rate of drift from the real time. See, as I told you, every process has its own local clock. Here, the process local clock exceeds the bounds on rate of drift. This is the failure about clock. Second one is performance. That also affects, here the performance affects both the channel and as well as process. First see the process, how the process got affected. Here the process exceeds the bounds on the interval between two steps. If a process exceeds the bounds, that means if a process is having lower bound and upper bound, if it exceeds, the performance is decreased. Coming to the channel, how it got affected means a message transmission takes longer than stated bound. If a message transmission takes longer time, if suppose it is expected a time bound, but it has taken much time, more longer time than the given stated bound, this got affects the channel process. Okay, these are the timing failures. Okay, next type of failure is masking failure. Okay, see, in the masking failure, it is possible to construct the reliable services from components that executes. Here, let's take an example. We have multiple servers that holds replicas of data can continue to provide a service when one of them crashes. Here, masking failures means, here everyone knows about the replicas. Replica is nothing but the same copy of information kept at different locations. If we maintain multiple servers, the same copy of data will be maintained at different servers. Okay. Here it is a one type of failure. Next, a knowledge of failure characteristics of a component that can be enable a new service to be designed to mask the failure of components on which it depends. Here see, This is all. First point is about the multiple servers and maintaining the replicas. Why? Because why we maintain multiple servers? If one server may fail at one location, okay, in order to cover that one, we will use another one. Okay. Next one, the second one is checksums are used to mask the corrupted messages, right? All we know about checksum. If process sends a message to another process, the receiving process needs to be checked whether the incoming message is correct or not. This is done by using a checksum. Okay. These are the masking failures. Total failures are omission failure, arbitrary failure, timing failure, and mask failure. Okay, this is all about the second model, that is failure model. Totally, we discussed about 4 type of failures here. The next one is security model. This we discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay, thank you, students.